Hi everyone. In this video I'll be showcasing two ways of installing the desktop system that look as updated for a while now. For this showcase I'll be using two avatars that were found inside Groxy Avatars public folder, which can be found inside a public avatar folder, which you can find in the directory world. Feel free to check out the directory as it has very cool stuff to look into. Now, before we get started, there is an issue with desktop users where if you want to jump into a model and you already have a desktop system installed, it will glitch it out because of the method of locomotion. Be sure that you are in no clip if you don't want to find any issues with collision or movement or anything. So to get started, we will start with Papyrus, and I will showcase the easiest way. Oh, this is his shoulder. And I will showcase the easiest way of installing the desktop system. So, head on over to your inventory, Essential Tools, Community Tools, DesktopUtils, and in Avatar System 2, you will find these cubes and this object that has no icon. I'm not sure if Lucas will update that, but it's called Desktop Mode Avatar Maker. Go ahead and just spawn that in. You will see this button spawned, and on the avatar you want to have the system installed. So in this case I have Papyrus equipped and I want it to become a desktop model. All you have to do is left click this button once and you have the system installed. You'll see that the arms moved a little bit. So if you tap B and N, your arms will move down. They are a bit offset, but I will explain how to correct that later. And if you press the key that's directly underneath the escape key, forgive me as I don't know how to call that key, you have a context menu which will let you engage in several types of locomotion. And that's pretty much it for the easiest way. You can go ahead and save your model by pressing the download icon in one of your folders. You'll know you can save it when it turns blue. And now for the more trickier method, but still easy regardless for people that like to do a manual approach on things. For this one, we will be using Sans. It does not have the system whatsoever. And to install the system, all we have to do, we don't actually need to be in Sans for this one. We can work with him outside of the model. We will head on over to the same directory where we found the button to install the system to Papyrus. I've went ahead and made a shortcut folder in my inventory, which you can do so with almost any folder by selecting the folder and pressing this mail icon. It will spawn the folder and you can save it in your inventory. So using the shortcut I made, I will go to Avatar System 2 and I will start by spawning context menu version 2.2 and screen locomotion 2.2.1. Put those aside. Now I go back and into the first avatar system, and in there you will find grabbable aligner version 1.0. Spawn that in. And screen hand positioner version 2.2. Spawn that in. In a way, it's similar to the first video that I showcased the desktop system, but it's been made much easier. One of these cubes needs updating. It's still the old-fashioned way, but the other three are that simple. So go ahead and open the inspector of the model you want the system in this case Sans, and we are going directly to the root of the model by pressing this up arrow. Now we can see Sans and everything that's inside of it. We put this aside. And now we are going to open the inspector of all these 4 cubes. Put these in a nice position. Okay, so now you'll notice most of the new objects, they have context menu as the parent, and inside they have a visual and another context menu. Locomotion is the same thing. Screen hand positioner, same thing, but it does not have the visual. The grabbable aligner is still using the old school method of uh, installing the system. So, to install the system, you simply hold down Shift and then you hold right click on the second context menu here because it's the one we want, and we just drag it and let go into Sense, and it's now parented to Sense. We do that to screen locomotion, it's there, and screen hand positioner. If I can aim properly, there we go. Now, grabbable aligner, you just put the whole thing in there. And what you're going to do afterwards is by double clicking grabbable aligner, you're going to look for a few items to deactivate here. One of them is the mesh renderer so that you don't actually see a cube following you. Box collider so that it doesn't collide with anything. And grabbable so that people don't grab it around in case they manage to find it. But with the collider deactivated, I don't think there's a way of them grabbing anyway. Regardless, that's the system installed. You're free to double click the leftover parent and just delete it. Don't delete this one, it's parented to the model. Just close the inspector. This one you can delete, and this one you can delete. So now, if we jump into Sense, we can open the context menu by pressing the button directly underneath Escape. And we can engage in different locomotion modes. And we can also hold B, hold N, and our arms work. They have the same issue as Papyrus had. Your hands are always centered between your legs. So now I will quickly, I say quickly, but I will try to demonstrate how to fix it, preferably on the model that you want to fix. So, with the inspector of your model open, you bring it close to a mirror so that it helps you see where the hands are being positioned. And you are going to open up Screen Hand Positioner. Left hand config and right hand config are exactly the items we want. So double clicking left hand config, we can see that it has 2 components. The first one, value field float 3, is the one we want to mess with first. It's gonna control the position of your hands. So if we play around with these values, so let's give this 20. Sometimes it takes more than just a small number, or it's different values. Let's try Z. Z did nothing. It could also be that it's the model itself. This does nothing. Let's try, oh, there we go. A high number gave some shift. Different models have different values, so don't be worried if the same number does not affect the model the same way as you'd expect. It's just a matter of keep tweaking and eventually you will find a good value. There we go. So Z stretches it forward and backward. Y moves it to the side. This is the first time I'm using thousands for a number, by the way. So let's put this arm a bit forward by giving it a 1000 value. There we go. The hand looks alright. So now with this arm set up, you're going to pretty much do the same thing on the right hand config. Same numbers, but one of them you just invert. So instead of being positive, it will be negative, or instead of being negative, it will be positive. So in this case, this one is positive compared to the one in left hand. And we will give it a 1000 value on the X value. And now the arms are correctly positioned. There is an issue, however. You will see that your right hand is rotated. It's a simple fix. The value field float Q is the component that controls the rotation of your hands. To simply fix this, remove the minus on the component and the hand rotates back in place. The same thing can be done with the papyrus model. It will most likely be with different values, and I will try to showcase that. So if we head over to papyrus and we find, excuse the mess in my inspector. So let's focus on the papyrus model and screen hand positioner, left hand, tap B and N to put your arms down. So if we try to play around with these values, well, it just so happens that it's the same value. But my Chibi Sephiroth there, if I show real quick in the screen hand positioner, you will see that it's very, very tiny values. So different models will have different values. I'm guessing it depends on how it was made in Blender or whatever. And that's it. That is the desktop system installed. Quick and painless. Both ways work just fine. It depends on personal preference. Now, I will be making another video shortly that will explain custom templates that Lucas made. They can be a bit confusing, but it allows you to make interesting buttons for your dialogue system in case you want to have a list of options. For example, in this model, when I access my system, I have added an AFK button that when I press it, it simply activates some texts that rotate around me. For now, that's all. Like mentioned, I will explain that in a future video. And thanks for watching.